What's going on, YouTube? There's definitely things to be grateful for in life. And, you know, I think Freud was the guy who said that a lot of our life outcomes stem from our childhood upbringing, like who our parents are, especially who our parents are. And there's a lot of truth to that. But there's a counter philosopher, Adler, who argues that our life outcomes are based on our beliefs, and we can change our outcomes based on things that we do in life, and basically we can make ourselves better. So I don't want to sit here and complain about why my brain doesn't operate like a lawyer. Great ideas come from a lot of different places, I wouldn't be where I am today without my specific circumstance. But I do feel like it could be better. And that is to say that I want to make it as great as, give my kids the best opportunity they can have. I was watching a YouTube video by Nick Rambles, and listening to him, I just feel like he's very coherent with his train of thought. His language is very good. Like, he has a very strong mind. And it kind of got me feeling a little bit insecure. I almost feel like his last video made me feel a little bit like he was flexing, because he has a fiance, and he made like $3,000 on Twitch per month. And I was gonna comment on his video, and I was gonna be like, hey, like, you said your parents and people in your family are lawyers, and you have all this support. You have a strong frame in your life with people who can teach you their ways. And I mean, they're lawyers, so you're gonna be a lawyer because you grow up with their thoughts and their language and their way of thinking. You know how to form arguments the way they do, and they have a lot of experience, and they just went through a lot of trouble to become who they are, And I think I made a mistake telling some people about my YouTube channel. I just can't seem to like keep shit to myself. But it fucks with me because now like people from my past, people from my life come, and now I'm thinking like how do I address them and how do I talk to them in my videos instead of just talking raw and honestly about what I want to talk about. I've just been feeling very insecure with what I've been doing. I mean, I look at the people around in my life and they are not pushing themselves like to be better. They're just kind of like looking for relationships before they're ready, you know. That's their goal, is to, you know, get into a relationship. And obviously that's everybody's goal, but I feel like you should go through some sort of like fire, some sort of ringer, some sort of gauntlet in your life that makes you worthy of being in a relationship. And I look at my parents, if I can call them that, like they are my birth givers. But like my mom, like she finished high school and she didn't go to college, and then she had a baby at 17, which is, you know, my sister. Broke up with that man for whatever reason. He was abusive, you know, and then she found my dad. She had 2 kids with him, me and my brother, and then she left him because he was abusive as well. And now she's with my current stepfather, who is pretty much just a construction worker. Like, not even, like he's just like a renovator. It's like very lower middle class vibes, you know. And I can sit here and complain. I know people have it worse than me, but I'm not really talking about that because I'm trying to better myself and trying to acknowledge all of my insecurities. Like, if only I had lawyer parents or doctor parents or engineering parents, I feel like I'd be a little bit better off, but I don't. I come from like a very, like almost borderline poverty. Like, I've had to fend for myself a lot. And just seeing all the bullshit in my family, like, you know, it angers me, and I compare myself to people I see on the internet, and kind of like inspires me to be better. But then I hear their stories and they're like, yeah, they all come from like privileged backgrounds. Like, they had parents who actually tried in their life, and you know, going back generations, I understand that their descendants maybe didn't have it like their parents. You know, there's always a point where someone's parents weren't the best, so, and they still made it. So I feel like it's possible for me, no matter what the circumstances. For you, if you have if you have parents who are maybe not the best, and you feel like you can't rely on anybody because every time you try to do something, it's like you're going against the grain of what was set out before you. You know, like, your parents are always there to contend with you if you don't align with their spiritual goals for how they see the world, and you kind of find your own tribe and prefer someone else's lifestyle or their way of thinking, you literally get into brawls with your family. I mean, I went through a lawsuit suing the religion that my parents brought me up in for $475K. I'm very proud of that. Even though, I had a lawyer, I feel like I had to lawyer myself to the lawyer and be very convincing about what happened to me. And it was something that happened. So it was kind of like easy for me to tell him, like, I was wronged. And but I do have tangential thoughts. Like, I listen to some rambling channels. The one specifically I mentioned, he's just like, he can hold a train of thought and then like grab, if he goes on a tangent, he'll like circle back. And I don't know, man, life's hard. I just want to sit here and complain about my upbringing. I feel like you need a little bit of taste of success in order to find love, and nobody really cares about you until you have some sort of success. It's just a harsh reality. Growing up with Polish parents, their language is very different than American culture. So they'll have thoughts and ideas based on their language, and then you try to communicate to them with the culture of America, and they're like, they don't understand it, so it's just difficult. There's not many ways I can better myself really with these circumstances. I don't, people usually want like a successful background. What's your resume? And for me, at least visually, there's no language barrier for design, because you can, I don't know, that's like eyesight, like that's kind of universal. So Lorenz speaks to what I'm capable of, visually speaking. But if I had language to match my ability in design, and it was equal, and I had stronger parents, I feel like I'd be a much stronger person. But I just feel like I've been nerfed, My main problem is tangential thinking. Like, I'll watch back these videos and I'll be on a train of thought, and then I'll have some idea like in my head over thoughts and overthinking, and then instead of finishing my train of thought, I'll hop onto another track. And I feel like that mirrors a lot of how my mom talks, and she almost makes you feel guilty for talking shit. And I do want to talk shit about her. I feel like she'll never see this video. But like, I don't know, like, I guess I can't really blame my mom, I guess. I don't know. I feel guilty saying it. And I understand things deeply, like I understand their circumstance and shit. There's just a lot to think about, you know. I don't want to put anything out there that's gonna bite me in the ass later, or that's not necessarily true. I don't know. I don't really. I mean, this is kind of like a rambling channel, I guess. You know, I think that's why I was put on that algorithm, because I closely match those people. Walking in the park, vlogging myself and rambling is a little bit more difficult than having a nice secluded room and playing GTA and fucking rambling to your microphone. Even though, again, I probably couldn't do it just because I never grew up with my own room. I had to share a basement with my brother my whole life. I've never even had 4 walls. It's always been 3 with a curtain. You know, people can hear what I'm saying. I have no privacy. What kind of development is that, you know? I guess what you see in front of you is what you get, but I just want to complain all day today. I can't find anything positive to really speak about. I don't know. Lorenz is probably the hardest thing I could think of according to my skills and what I'm good at, you know. And I really want to sell the 3D printed model that I have, the 18% scale model that I 3D printed. I've been trying to sell it for 10K. I tried maybe like 15 people. You can see it on my Instagram at lorenz.motors. And I still haven't forgot about that channel. It's just, it gets discouraging, you know, when things don't work out like they do in your head. But it is a numbers game, and maybe I just didn't try hard enough. So maybe I'll pick that back up after I lose some weight, or maybe in between. But I feel like if I ever sell that, you know, my life would change, because then my mindset would unlock a little bit differently, and I'd have bragging rights and all that stuff, and I could move forward, because then I know the economy actually wants it, even if it doesn't fly, you know. And I definitely want it to fly, you know, and I can make it fly. I know how to make it fly. It's a little expensive though, and in labor and in you know, from an accounting standpoint. But I do have the skills to do it, and I feel like I would if I could just sell the model, you know. I mean, I don't know. I just want to prove to people that you can do it. You can succeed, even if your circumstances are limited or not the ideal, or compared to what other people have. Like, I didn't grow up with anyone who tries hard. Like, I'm literally the most try hard in my family. I mean, yeah, I mean, I compare myself to my siblings, and I just like, they're all in relationships, but they haven't really accomplished anything difficult in their life. They act like it's difficult, but it's not to that caliber that you would want to be, you know. I mean, we have people doing surgery every day. If you ever watch the show The Pit, like there's people who just like are at the ER all day and just like saving people's lives. Like there's people on that level. Like that's hard. Or Navy SEALs going through buds, or you look at like Chef Ramsay. You know, being a chef is very difficult. Making food and running a restaurant, a successful restaurant, that's difficult. Or you know, Mr. Beast making you know, hundreds of millions of views, almost 1 billion views on one of his videos. There's like people who invent AI, like ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence. Like, you know, so I definitely want to be at that level. It's painful and it feels like you can't do it. You know, it feels like it's impossible. Like you try and you try and you fail and you fail, and there's so many failures that come along with it. Luckily with the internet now, you can record your failures and make content out of it. Like SpaceX, you know, they record their crashes, their explosions, and yeah, I mean, you can monetize off of it, build a whole brand around like failing and trying and failing and trying. You know, that's very inspiring. That's I feel like that's what people should want more of. I don't know. I feel like instead of complaining, I should like try a little bit harder, especially with my new mindset, my new outlook on life, without parasites in my gut. Maybe I should go back to Lorenz and actually try to sell it, you know? Maybe put on like a nice outfit, or like dress a little bit more salesman-like instead of a little bit more bummy, you know? And just really sell it, you know? The thing is, it's literally, it's priced at 10K, and I don't want to have like salesman tactics where I'm like dropping the price based on like, oh, if you give me a good review, or if you follow me on Instagram, or you know, share this video with 10 people, I'll drop the price down to 9K. You know, I don't want to play that game. I feel like that's manipulative. And I mean, look at Tesla. You know, they don't have salesmen at their car dealership. If you can even call it a car dealership, it's more of just like a market, like for it, like a store. It's literally a Tesla store where you go in, the price is the price, you pay what is on the tag, and it's never inflated, it's never negotiated down. It's just the price is the price, and that's what you pay. So that's kind of my mindset too. I don't want to, you know, play games and, you know, be like a used car salesman, or a solar salesman, or a roofing salesman, or whatever. I just want to go in and be like, yep, that's the price. If you want it, you want it. If not, I'll see you later. And it really is kind of like being a lawyer. Being a salesman is kind of like being a lawyer. You really have to know your shit a little bit. And that came out wrong. It's not that it came out wrong, but it's more of like emotional intelligence, like people, like reading people and understanding that they want the best deal. And because they deal with like salesmen a lot, you know, they own a home, they deal with salesmen, and they'll talk to them, and then they'll drop their price. So they're used to like that whole haggling and negotiating thing. And I just don't think that's how you should live your life. It's just that the other thing is like with Lorenz and stuff. Um um there's nowhere really to sell it. You know, you go to the Tesla charging station and it's just like, no offense, but there's just like one race. Like, it's just Indians. I don't have anything against Indians, but like, you know, those are those are probably the worst people to do business with, because they'll always haggle you down. They never want to spend money. They probably just don't have it, or you know, they're whatever. I mean, if a lot of Indians are rich, I'm not going to say they don't have it, but you know, you try to talk to them and they're just like, no, you know, it doesn't make good content. So it's like, where would I even sell it? You know, where would I mean, it looks cool for sure. I would want it for myself. It's just what it means to people, you know? It's like, how do I frame what it means for people to own it? Because right now, for me to own it, it's more of like, I made that shit. Like, I designed it, I created it, I made it all by myself. I spent years, I dedicated my life to this whole project. You know, I made it happen. And I look at it, it looks really nice. Like, it looks cool. It's probably the best flying car design that, in my opinion, I feel like fucking Deroni copied me. That's how good it was. And no lawyer will take my case because, I don't know, she like I don't know, like, there's like arguments for, oh, why it's a risky case and all this stuff. And I'm just like, bro, every fucking flying car is gonna look like this. I like constrained the hell out of it in my head. Like, I went nuts. I ended up in the psych ward because of how like fucked up I made my brain. Like, I like Navy SEAL trained my brain to create this. That's all I spent my brain power using. So it's a very like nice design, and I feel like I can sell it for 10K because that's how much it's worth. The thing is, like, people always ask, does it fly? And it's like, I could make it fly. It's just, you know, I want this to be part of my story. The fact that I sold it without it flying, like, I want to be that guy that sells it without it flying. You know, that will always be a part of my brand. That will always be a part of my story. You know, it doesn't have to fly. It just has to look nice. That's like total opposite of what Dyson preaches, which is, you know, it's all about function. Design is part of function. And it's true. Like, yeah, I agree. It's just that I'm not at that level yet. You know, I'm at this level. I'm at this stage, and this is what God put in front of me to do right now. And that's, you know, that's essentially what I want to do. Just, you know, it's difficult. It's very difficult. You know, is it possible? I'm sure it is. You know, I don't know, man. I do want like the perfect video for it though. You know, like, I have this idea in my mind, like this Play-Doh form for what the idea should look like. And it should definitely be a YouTube video of me trying to sell it. You know, I feel like maybe if I just like vlog my sales journey and just be like, hey, like, I'm making a YouTube channel. That's probably what I should do, is just like vlog like going to Westfield or some sort of city where you don't need a permit to solicit, to door knock. And I just go there and I'm like, hey, like I have my vlogging camera out and be like, hey, I'm making a YouTube video right now. I'm just selling, this 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 flying car 3D model prototype that I designed and 3D printed. And I just want to get your thoughts on it and see if you'd be interested in something, buying it potentially. It sounds like simple, right? It's like really simple. And like, yeah, I should do that. I've done it before. I've done door knocking before with Trinity Solar. And like I've done door knocking as a Jehovah's Witness, preaching the good news and about the Bible and Jesus and all that. And people are generally pretty nice, especially if you come off well-mannered and well put together. They usually have no problem with you. And, I would love to have that on my resume, that I fucking sold something that I, by myself, envisioned, created, like all that stuff. And there's doubts in my head where I'm just like, it's on the internet. Wouldn't people want to freaking buy it already and DM you and be like, hey, I want it? But no, at the counter to that is that, it doesn't look the same in video compared to in person. Plus, not a lot of people have seen it on video even. And the videos that, had some movement on my Instagram, you can't even really see it. So, yeah, 75,000 people may have seen the video, but, seeing it in person is a little bit different than seeing it on video. My target audience is really just like someone with a mansion, like someone really, man, it's difficult, Anyways, I'm done rambling, done complaining. Kind of just, no one's gonna watch this video anyway. That's the type of energy I'm gonna put out there. I don't really mind if you do or don't. It doesn't, I've been rejected all my life, trying and failing, and but I feel like I can't place a thought, I'm just like not there yet, and I'm like almost there, but I'm not quite there yet. So I'm putting that out into the universe that's my goal. I want to sell it for 10K. Once I do, I feel like my life will change a little bit. And yeah. Once someone accepts me, right? It's like once someone else validates me, it's like, oh yeah, here's what you asked for. Here's 10K for this thing that you made. That would be like a mini orgasm. Literally, so much neurochemicals would fire off in my brain, and it would be great. You gotta do it in the jungle, I guess, because there's not like a grand exchange where you can just buy and sell stuff that you have. Like, I guess you can go to a pawn shop, but they're gonna lowball the hell out of you. That is an idea I had, though, which is going to a pawn shop and just seeing what they say. Just like recording it, being like, hey, how much would you give me for this? They'll be like, how much, what is it? And then I'll sell it to them, be like, it's the Lorenzo Robotic car, 18% scale model, 3D printed, designed by engineer Peter Roman. Here's the certificate of authenticity and all that stuff. And they would look at it and give me a price. I should do that. But I don't know. Pawn shop people are weird. I've sold to a pawn shop before, and they will fuck you up the ass because they know you need money, so they'll just give you like the lowest amount possible. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I wonder what they would say, though. Before I sell it, I do want to get a price from a pawn shop. I'm not like motivated by it. I'm not like inspired to do it, though. Like, I kind of have ill feelings towards pawn shop owners. Kind of just like don't really like their energy. They're there to like fuck you over. They're not there to help you out. I mean, yeah. So anyways, I'll think about it more, but that's pretty much it for this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow.